Let me tell you something today, not just something to make you feel good, not something to tickle your ears, but a truth that's been tested, proven, and fire. Walked through the storms of life, God did not bring you this far. To leave you, you didn't survive the pain, push through the loss, overcome the betrayal, and climb out the pit, just to be dropped in the middle of nowhere. God is not a halfway God. He is an Alpha and Omega God. He starts a thing to finish it. He lifts you up with purpose. He plants you with intention. And if you're still breathing, He's still building. You may be tired. You may feel forgotten. But just because you can't see your destination doesn't mean God lost the map. Oh no, He's still driving the ship. You're not stranded. You're being strengthened. Just because it's dark right now doesn't mean it's over. Listen to me. Your current storm is not your final scene. Life has a way of convincing you that the chapter you're stuck in is how the story ends. But that's not how God writes. He's not the author of unfinished business. If you're still standing, if you're still breathing, it means the pen is still in His hand, and that means your storm doesn't get the last word. God does. You see, we get so caught up in the moment, in the pain, in the mess, that we forget we serve a God who doesn't panic. He doesn't flinch when the winds howl or the waves rise. He's not pacing back and forth in heaven, wondering how to fix your situation. No, He's sovereign. He knew the storm was coming before you ever stepped foot in the boat, and He allowed it, not to sink you, but to show you who He really is. See, you only find out God is a healer when something breaks. You only know He's a deliverer when you're bound. You only discover He's your provider when the bank account dries up and your friends go missing. We want resurrection power, but we forget that something has to die first for resurrection to happen. That's why the storm isn't here to destroy you. It's here to develop you, and yet, in the middle of it, you're tempted to believe the lie, the one that whispers, "This is it. You've gone too far. God's done with you." But let me ask you something. If He was finished with you, why are you still here? Why are you still waking up in the morning? Why are you still breathing? It's because He's not done. The storm may be real, but so is the Savior. What you're going through right now may look like defeat, but don't confuse the middle for the end. You're in a scene, not the full story. Don't you dare put a period where God put a comma. The pain you're feeling, the pressure you're carrying, it's not punishment, it's purpose. There's oil coming out of this crushing. There's revelation coming out of this confusion. There's destiny wrapped up in this disaster. God has a way of using what was meant to break you as the very thing that builds you. What the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for your good. You may not see it yet. You may not understand it. But faith isn't about feelings. Faith is about standing when you don't have answers, believing when you can't see the road ahead, and trusting when the winds are howling in your ears. You're not in the storm alone. God didn't walk you through all that just to leave you now. He brought you through sleepless nights, heartbreak, closed doors, and lonely seasons for a reason. He didn't save you just to drop you. He didn't bless you just to break you. No, He's building something inside you that storms can't take away. Strength, grit, faith, identity. See, when you come out of this, you won't come out empty. You'll come out stronger, wiser, and more rooted than before. You'll come out with a story, a testimony, a fire that can't be put out, but you've got to hold on. Don't let go in the middle. Don't stop just because it hurts. Keep walking, keep worshiping, keep trusting, because this storm is not the end, it's a setup for your comeback. You remember that storm Jesus calmed. The disciples thought they were going to die. They panicked. They forgot who was in the boat with them. But Jesus stood up, spoke to the winds and waves, and everything obeyed. That same Jesus is in your boat right now. He hasn't left you. He hasn't forgotten you. And when the time is right, He will stand up and speak peace over your storm. But until then, don't mistake silence for absence. Just because He's not saying something doesn't mean He's not doing something. He's working behind the scenes, moving pieces you can't see, lining up provision, strengthening your faith, and when the curtain lifts, you'll understand why you had to go through the storm in the first place. So let me tell you again, your current storm is not your final scene. Don't give up in the middle. Don't bow to fear. Don't lose sight of who you are and whose you are. God is not finished with you, and the storm that was sent to bury you is the same storm that will carry you into your purpose. So stand tall. Lift your head, wipe those tears, and declare to the heavens, this storm will not break me. It will build me, because my God is not done with me yet. Look at your life. Look back, not with regret, but with clarity. Think about everything God has already brought you through. The heartbreak that didn't destroy you. The closed doors that you thought were rejection, but turned out to be protection. The nights you cried yourself to sleep, and still woke up with breath in your lungs. The times you were down to nothing, and somehow, someway, provision showed up. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was the faithfulness of God. And if He's done it before, what makes you think He won't do it again? God's track record is perfect, not just good, not just sometimes faithful, perfect. He's never lost a battle. He's never made a mistake. He's never abandoned one of His children in the middle of the wilderness. You might feel like you're in a dry place right now, like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But let me remind you, the same God who opened the Red Sea is the same God who walks with you today. Too many people lose hope in the delay. They forget what God already did. They forget how He showed up the last time they were in trouble. But you can't walk in victory with spiritual amnesia. You've got to remember. You've got to rehearse your testimony until it becomes louder than your fear. Every single time God delivered you, protected you, sustained you, provided for you, that was His track record, and it speaks. You see, when you're in the middle of a storm, the enemy wants you to forget. He wants to isolate you. He wants you to think this time is different. This time you're really going under. But let me remind you, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't bring you out of Egypt just to let you die in the desert. He didn't pull you out of addiction, depression, abuse, or failure just to let you fall apart now. That's not who He is. If you want to know what God will do, look at what He's already done. The Bible is full of reminders, not just promises. Stories that tell you again and again, God delivers, God heals, God defends, God restores, and not just back then, in ancient times, but right now in your life. Right now in your storm, right now in your waiting. Some of you should have lost your mind by now. The weight was too heavy. The pain was too deep, but you're still here. You're still standing. That's not by your strength. That's by His grace. That's evidence that He's not done with you. If God brought you to this place, then He's responsible for getting you through it. You didn't choose Him first. He chose you. That means He's more invested in your future than even you are. He has more to lose if you don't finish, because He put His name on you. His promise is tied to His reputation. And let me tell you something about God. He protects His name. He doesn't let His word return void. If He said He'd finish the work He started in you, then He will. Sometimes you just need to sit down and remember, write it down, speak it out, testify to yourself if nobody else will listen. Remind your soul, He brought me through before, and He'll do it again. That memory, that track record, is your weapon in the waiting. You think David walked up to Goliath with just a slingshot. No, he walked in with memory. He said, "The God who delivered me from the lion and the bear will deliver me from this Philistine." He didn't say maybe. He didn't say hopefully. He knew because he had seen what God could do. That confidence didn't come from comfort. It came from history with God, and you've got history too. You may not have killed a lion, but you survived a season of betrayal. You may not have fought a giant, but you came through a financial drought, a divorce, a diagnosis, a depression. And you're still standing. That's your proof. That's your evidence. That's your foundation. So stop walking around like God has failed you. He hasn't, and He won't. His word doesn't expire. His mercy doesn't run out. His grace doesn't run dry. And His promises don't break under pressure. You've got to stop treating this moment like it's the end of the story. It's just another scene, and you've already seen what he can do. Let his track record fuel your faith. Let his past faithfulness silence your present fear. Because when you know what he's done, you don't panic about what's next. You praise in advance, you worship before the breakthrough, you walk with your head high, not because of your strength, but because you know the one walking beside you. This isn't the first time you've needed God to show up, and it won't be the last. But every single time he's proven one thing, he's faithful, and if he was faithful then, he's faithful now. If he did it before, he will do it again. So don't forget, don't doubt, don't shrink. Remember who your God is. Because his track record is still perfect. Faith doesn't shine brightest when everything is going right. It shines when everything seems to be falling apart. That's where it's proven. That's where it's refined. That's where it's forged. Not on the mountaintop where the view is clear and the air is light, but down in the valley where the shadows are thick, where the silence is loud, and where you start questioning everything you thought you believed. You see, we love the idea of victory, of blessing, of breakthrough, but we run from the valley. We pray for strength, but we don't want the weight that builds it. We want unshakable faith, but we want it without shaking. But hear me, faith is not built in comfort. It is not developed in peace. Faith is built in the furnace. It's tested in the flood. It's shaped in the struggle. You won't know God is a sustainer until you feel like you're about to break. You won't know He's a keeper until you've been on the edge of giving up. And you won't know He's a provider until you've had nothing left but trust. This is why valleys matter. This is why the low places, the dark places, the difficult places are holy ground. Because that's where God reveals Himself in ways the mountaintop never could. In the valley, God is not just your provider. He becomes your portion. In the valley, you stop relying on your own strength, your own plans, your own understanding. In the valley, pride dies, ego gets crushed, control is surrendered, and that's when real faith begins, because faith is not a feeling, it's a decision to trust when nothing makes sense, a decision to walk when you can't see the path, a decision to stand even when your knees are shaking, and that kind of faith, valley faith, is not cheap. It costs something. It costs tears. It costs prayers that go unanswered for a while. It costs late nights wrestling with doubt. It costs standing in front of a closed door and praising God anyway. But let me tell you, God honors that kind of faith. He leans in close to that kind of faith. The Bible says He is near to the brokenhearted. Not the perfect, not the polished, not the ones who have it all together. No, He's close to the ones who are hurting, the ones in the valley, the ones who have nothing left but a whisper that says, God, I still believe. That kind of faith, valley faith, is dangerous. It's powerful because when you've walked through the fire and came out not smelling like smoke, you don't praise like everybody else. You don't worship out of routine. You worship out of survival. You lift your hands, not just because it's Sunday, but because you know if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't even be here. And here's the truth. Everyone wants to skip the valley. Everyone wants to jump from promise to promise, blessing to blessing. But the promise goes through the process, and the process often goes through pain. There is no shortcut to glory. There is no elevator to destiny. You've got to walk it out. You've got to cry through it, pray through it, push through it, because what's waiting on the other side is bigger than the pain you're carrying. Do you think Joseph learned to trust God while sitting in the palace? No, he learned in the pit. In the prison, in betrayal, in isolation. That's where his character was formed. That's where his purpose was shaped. And when the time was right, God elevated him, not just to bless him, but because Joseph had been built to carry it. He was prepared in the valley. Same with you. God is preparing you in your valley. He's pruning you, strengthening you, removing what can't go with you to the next level. And though it may hurt, it's necessary. Because what he has for you requires a version of you that can only be formed through fire. So don't despise the valley. Don't rush the process. You may not see it yet, but God is doing something in you that will last longer than any temporary comfort. He's giving you roots. He's giving you depth. He's making you unshakable. You may be saying, "But I don't feel strong." That's okay. You don't have to feel it to walk in it. Faith says, "Even when I don't see it, even when I don't feel it, I trust you." And that's what pleases God. Not the perfect performance, not flawless obedience, but raw, real, unfiltered faith that says, "I'm hurting, but I'm here. I'm tired, but I'm still showing up. I'm confused, but I still believe." So walk through your valley, not with fear, but with fire in your spirit. This is not the end. This is not your final destination. This is the classroom. This is the training ground. This is where faith is forged. And when you come out of this, because you will come out, you'll carry a faith that doesn't shake when the world does. You'll walk in a strength that can't be stolen by circumstance. And you'll stand on the mountaintop, not forgetting the valley, but thanking God for it. Because in the valley, you found something priceless. You found God in a way you never had before. You found yourself, and you found out that your faith, though tested by fire, is more precious than gold. Delay is one of the most misunderstood tools in God's hand. We don't like it. We don't pray for it. In fact, we often rebuke it, thinking it's some kind of attack from the enemy. But more times than we realize, that delay isn't the devil, it's divine. That silence you're experiencing, that waiting room you're sitting in, that not yet from heaven, it's not punishment, it's preparation. God isn't denying you, He's developing you. See, we want God to move fast. We want instant breakthrough, overnight success, microwave blessings. We say we trust His timing, but when He takes too long, we start to panic. We start to question, "God, did you forget about me? Did you change your mind? Why are you making me wait?" But let me ask you something. What's the point of a promise if you don't have the character to carry it? What good is elevation if you're not equipped to handle the weight? God's delay is never empty. He's not just watching the clock. He's working behind the scenes. He's building your capacity. He's teaching you how to walk by faith, not by sight. He's stretching your endurance, because when He finally brings you into what He's promised, He doesn't want you to lose it the moment pressure shows up. So He develops you before He delivers you. Think about it. David was anointed king as a teenager, but he didn't sit on the throne until years later. Why? Because oil without maturity is dangerous. David had to learn how to lead sheep before he could lead a nation. He had to be developed in obscurity before he could be revealed in authority. God had to build something in him before He gave him something to rule over. And the same is true for you. The delay you're experiencing is not wasted time. It's sacred time. It's heaven's construction zone. God is working on your heart. He's refining your motives. He's removing what can't go with you to the next season. That attitude, that impatience, that need for validation. God is cutting it away in the delay because He loves you too much to promote you prematurely. We don't talk about this enough, but premature promotion is a setup for disaster. If you arrive before you're ready, what was supposed to bless you can break you. Just ask the people who got everything they prayed for and still fell apart. Why? Because the blessing was bigger than their capacity. Their talent took them to a place their character couldn't sustain. That's why God makes you wait. That's why He lets doors close. That's why He lets people walk away, not to hurt you, but to heal you, to show you what you were depending on, to shift your trust from people and positions back to Him. Because if your foundation is faulty, the fall will be great. But if He builds you deep, no storm can shake you. So yes, the delay is hard. It's frustrating. It tests your patience, your faith, your identity. But that's the point. God isn't trying to entertain you. He's trying to establish you. You asked him to use you. You asked him to bless you. You asked him to elevate you, but you didn't know the blessing comes with weight. And before you carry it, God makes sure your back is strong enough to hold it. Every minute you spend waiting, he's sharpening you, teaching you to hear his voice, training you to trust even when he's silent, molding your prayer life, deepening your roots, because when the wind comes, and it will come, only those with roots can stand. Don't despise the delay. Don't curse the quiet. Don't think for a second that God has forgotten you. He's a master builder, and master builders never rush the process. They measure twice, cut once. They reinforce the foundation. They take their time because what they're building is meant to last. Let me tell you something. What God is building in you is too important to rush. The vision he gave you, the calling on your life, the purpose you carry, it's not a small thing. That's why the process feels so long. That's why the pressure feels so heavy. You're not being overlooked. You're being overhauled. God is doing a deep work in you so that when your moment comes, you're not just ready to receive it. You're ready to carry it. So don't quit in the delay. Don't abandon your post. Don't throw away your confidence just because the clock is ticking. Remember this, God's delay is never God's denial. If he said it, he will do it. If he promised it, he will perform it. He's not a man that he should lie. His timing may not be your timing, but his timing is always right. And when the time comes, when the delay finally ends, you'll see it was worth every tear, every prayer, every lonely night, every closed door. You'll realize he wasn't holding the blessing from you. He was holding you in place until you were ready to carry it. So trust him, wait well, worship while you wait, because the delay is divine, and your moment is coming. You didn't call yourself. You didn't choose this path. You didn't design your own purpose. You may have said yes to it, but you didn't create it. God did. He authored it. He initiated it. And the truth is, God is more invested in your future than even you are. You may feel like giving up sometimes. You may question if you're really built for this. You may have moments of fear, fatigue, and frustration, but God doesn't flinch. He doesn't question his choice. When he called you, he already knew every weakness you had, every failure you'd commit, every storm you'd face. And still, he said, that one, I choose that one. When God places his hand on your life, it's not casual, it's intentional. He doesn't do anything halfway. When he starts a work, he plans to finish it. Scripture says he is the author and finisher of your faith. That means he didn't just write your beginning. He already scripted your victory. That means he's invested in seeing you win. He's committed to walking you through every chapter, every valley, every obstacle, because the outcome isn't just about you. It's about his name, his glory, his promise. You see, we often think God is watching us from a distance, arms folded, waiting for us to get it right. But that's not how he works. God is not a passive observer in your story. He is an active participant. He's in the fight with you. He's in the process with you. He's in the pain with you. And when you fall, he doesn't walk away. He reaches down, picks you up, and says, "We're still going. I haven't changed my mind." Some of you have been measuring God's faithfulness by your faithfulness. You've been thinking, I messed up too much. I've failed too often. Maybe I missed it. But hear me, your failures don't cancel his calling. Your weaknesses don't void his will. God's investment in you is not based on your perfection. It's based on his purpose. And purpose doesn't expire just because the journey got hard. When a builder starts a house, they don't stop just because it rains. They don't walk away just because the ground is rough. They dig. They lay foundation. They measure every angle because they are invested in the outcome. And God is the master builder. He knows exactly what he's doing in you. He knows what to tear down, what to reinforce, what to polish, and what to remove. You may feel like it's taking too long, but God is not building a shack. He's building a temple, and temples take time. That's why he doesn't let you quit when you want to. That's why the door didn't stay closed. That's why the thing you thought would destroy you didn't. Because God is preserving you for something greater. He's not letting you settle. He's not letting you self-destruct. Because His name is tied to your purpose. And when God stamps His name on something, He sees it through. Some of you are tired. You've been running on empty. You've been trying to carry the weight of your calling in your own strength. But let me remind you, this vision isn't yours to carry alone. If God gave it, God will sustain it. If He planted the seed, He will provide the rain. If He started the fire, He'll keep it burning. You are not the source. You are the vessel. You are not the power. You are the platform. So stop trying to perform your way into purpose. You don't have to strive to earn what was freely given. You don't have to manipulate doors to open. You don't have to impress anyone to be qualified. God's investment in you was made before you ever proved yourself. He chose you when nobody knew your name. He saw value in you when all you saw was failure. He put purpose on you when all you had was pain. And here's the beautiful part. Because He chose you, He's responsible for keeping you. That means when you feel too weak, He becomes your strength. When you run out of wisdom, He becomes your guide. When you want to quit, He whispers, "Keep going. I'm not done yet." God has too much in you to let you give up now. He's deposited too much grace, too much power, too much purpose inside of you to let you sink. You may not feel it every day, but it's there. You may not see the full picture yet, but the brush is still in His hand. And what He's painting with your life is more glorious than anything you could imagine. So stand tall, walk forward, don't shrink back. Don't disqualify yourself because of your past. Don't get discouraged because it's taking longer than you thought. If God started it, He will finish it. If He called you, He will equip you. And if He's investing in you, it's because there's a return on your life that's going to bless generations. He's not just trying to take you somewhere, He's trying to build something through you. Something that reflects Him, something that honors His name, something that shakes the earth, and He will finish what He started, because He's not just committed to the promise, He's committed to you. You may feel like giving up. The weight has been heavy, the waiting has been long, the disappointments have stacked up, and truth be told, you've wondered if it's even worth it. You've thought to yourself, what's the point of trying when nothing seems to change? You've considered laying it all down, walking away from the fight, the faith, the dream, the call. But hear this clearly, quitting is not an option when God is still moving. That pressure you feel, that resistance you're facing, it's not a sign that God has stopped working. It's a sign that the breakthrough is close. You don't get hit this hard unless what you're carrying is dangerous to the enemy. You don't come under this kind of attack unless what's inside you threatens darkness. And you better believe the enemy will try everything to get you to quit right before God shows up. That's his tactic, to make you walk away too soon, to make you surrender when you were only steps away from the finish line. But you've come too far to quit now. You've cried too many tears. You've fought through too many battles. You've made it through too many nights wondering if you'd even see the light of day, and yet you're still here. That means something. That means you've got endurance. That means you've got purpose. That means God is still breathing on your story. And if He's still breathing, the story's not over. It's easy to praise when everything's working. It's easy to show up when the blessings are flowing, but real power, that shows up when you worship while you weep, when you keep showing up with nothing but a mustard seed of faith left in your soul. When you refuse to quit even though quitting would be the easiest thing to do, that's the kind of faith that gets heaven's attention. That's the kind of resilience that shakes the gates of hell. You see, quitting might look like relief, but it leads to regret. You might feel peace for a moment, but eventually you'll wonder what could have happened if you just held on a little longer. God never promised the road would be smooth. He never said the path would be painless. But he did promise he would never leave you. He did promise that he would complete the good work he started in you. And he did promise that all things, not just the good things, all things would work together for your good if you love him and walk in your calling. So what do you do when quitting seems easier than continuing? You remind yourself why you started. You remember the moment he called you. You remember how far he's brought you. You remember that every closed door was protection, that every heartbreak was a setup for something better, that every delay was a tool for development. You remind yourself that God is faithful, even when life is not. This journey you're on, it's not random. It's not meaningless. It's divine. It's marked. It's designed. God placed purpose on you before you were ever born. He knew your name when nobody else did. He counted your tears. He numbered your hairs. He mapped out your destiny with precision, and he doesn't make mistakes. So if you're still here, that means purpose is still alive inside of you. Some of the greatest moments in your life will come right after you refuse to quit. Just on the other side of your breakdown is your breakthrough. Just past your pain is your promise. And no, you can't see it yet. But faith doesn't require sight. It requires trust. It requires a decision to say, even when I don't feel it, even when I don't understand it, I believe God is working. And he is. Don't get distracted by what's not happening. Don't let the silence fool you. God moves best in the unseen. He does his deepest work in hidden places. While you're waiting, he's working. While you're crying, he's collecting every tear. While you're pressing on, he's preparing something greater than you imagined. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not failing. You are fighting. You're pushing through the storm. You're climbing the mountain. You're walking on water, even if you feel like you're sinking. And Jesus is right there, reaching for your hand, saying, "Don't quit. I've got you." God didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't save you just to watch you stumble. He didn't place a dream in you just to let it die. He is still moving, and if he's still moving, you keep moving too. Keep showing up to the prayer room even when it's quiet. Keep praising him in the pain. Keep believing for the door to open. Keep writing the vision. Keep loving the people who don't love you back. Keep being faithful when no one's watching. Because every act of obedience, every step of faith, every moment you refuse to quit, it's building something eternal. So plant your feet, lift your head, wipe your tears, and tell your soul, I will not quit. Because God is still moving, and as long as he's moving, I'm not backing down. You were made for this. You were called for this. You were born for this, and quitting is not an option. Not now, not ever. Somebody needs to hear this right now. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. God didn't whisper promises to you in private to abandon you in public. No, no, no. He's still writing your story. He's not done. So don't close the book when God is just turning the page. Hold your head up, square your shoulders, and keep walking, because God didn't bring you this far to leave you.